Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? It is me, it's Steven. We're back on the building with another Coffee and Sports Morning Show. I'm on a Sports Empire Network here. Got my guy, Brett. What is going on this morning, Brett? What's up?
Oh, not a lot. Ready to talk some sports?
Are you all right since last night? I mean, I know, Mr. Rogers over there is not doing too hot.
Oh, wow, yeah. No, I fully expected us. I expected us to lose last night, but we actually played much better than I thought we did. Our offense actually outgained Buffalo, so I was shocked about that.
All right, since that is the first thing on the agenda here, we're going to go ahead and preview that game last night. As you know, the Green Bay Packers did go up against the Buffalo Bills last night, and I thought it was going to be a massacre slaughter. But like you said, it was only a 10-point game. Buffalo did take the game 27 to 17. And Aaron Rodgers, 19 of 30, 203, two touchdowns, and a interception. Aaron Jones, we said for Green Bay to win this game, Aaron Jones had to have majority of the carries, 20 carries, 143 yards, and it still was not enough. Romeo Dobbs, 4 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Torre, have no clue who that is, but he caught a touchdown too. So, defensive wise, I mean, they had some picks as well, but again, Josh Allen is just Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things over there in Buffalo. 13 to 25. He didn't really have to throw much. 218, two touchdowns, two picks. Stephon Diggs, six receptions, 108 yards, and one touchdown. And also Dawson Knox gets a touchdown as well. And Isaiah McKenzie gets a rushing touchdown. So, Brad, talk about last night's game.
Yeah, I thought the Packers played much better than I thought they would, and it they mixed it up a little bit because in majority of our losses we were coming out of the shotgun like every play. But last night we watched Rodgers even get under center a little bit, and call more designed runs, which I think helps out the offensive line a lot. Because before that, we were just calling like RPO runs, which the line doesn't know if they're passing or run blocking to start. So I think it did help that we were calling a lot more just straight designed runs last night. At the end of the day, just the better team won. Buffalo's a much better team than Green Bay right now. Diggs is just Diggs. He went off. I think that Green Bay should start looking to maybe replace Joe Barry at the end of the year. I never really was a big fan of the hiring of Barry as the defensive coordinator, and just his defenses have never impressed me. He had a good defense last year, but I think that was more attributed to a lot of people just having career years. So yeah, but yeah, I actually liked what the Packers did last night. Like, we couldn't get the win, but that's all right. Maybe we can build on that and win next week.
I mean, it is. I don't know if they are on a four-game losing streak, and I don't know if I ever seen Aaron Rodgers with a four-game losing streak.
No, I do think we should consider selling at the deadline, though. We definitely should gather some pieces, and if we still think we can win with Rodgers, I don't think this is the year to do it. But I think that next year we could potentially do it. But if we're going to do that, we definitely need to get some more young talent and just better talent across the board. I think we need to replace Darnell Savage. He was just awful. He doesn't tackle well in the run game. He doesn't cover in the pass game. He's just back there, I think, because he's fast at this point, but he can't do anything with that speed. So I think that'd be a good start on a defense to find a replacement for him.
I mean, it looks like Stephon Diggs and Jair Alexander had some type of something going on in the tunnel or before they came out. So I don't know if that was like real hyper or anything like that. But Stephon Diggs is just a whole nother receiver, in my opinion, one of the best route runners in football right now. 108 yards, only 6 carries, only 6 receptions. Josh Allen is still just amazing with his arm, just what he can do in the pocket, use his legs as well. James Cook actually played pretty well yesterday in that running game. I know he out beat Singletary and Moss last night. Um, but do you think that the Bills should add another running back to their arsenal, or are they good at where they're at? Does that take away from Josh Allen? Even though Josh Allen, I know is going to be Josh Allen, and he's mobile. Getting a maybe an upgrade at the running back position, does that still make them, still Josh Allen, still the offense around Josh Allen?
When it comes to running back, if they can pursue an upgrade, I think they should. I don't think the running back outside of last night they featured the running backs a decent amount, but for the most part, that Bills offense doesn't really feature running backs often. So I don't think they should be using premium picks and premium draft capital on a running back. But if there's an upgrade to be had and they can get it for a fair deal, then yeah, absolutely. I do think that it would benefit them because at the end of the game, it kind of showed that they're having trouble running the clock out at the end, and then Josh Allen threw a couple bad interceptions. So I do think it would benefit them, but I don't think they should be spending any premium draft capital. If they can get somebody an upgrade for a later round pick, then I would absolutely pursue that for sure.
The most definitely. There's something else I was about to say. So then that NFC North division, we clearly see that Minnesota is leading that division at 601, and then you're tied with the Bears 3-5, and then there's the Giant, and then there's the Lions. Is there some type of way somehow that Green Bay could turn a season around?
Yeah, they can. I do believe that we still can, but I need to see more of what we did last night. I want to see. Let's run it more out of the single back. Let's control the clock better. We need Rodgers under center because if he goes under center, I think that just makes the play action that much more dangerous, which creates more easy and open looks for him. So, but will we? That's a different question. I do think we can. I'm not going to lose faith in the Packers quite yet, but that's probably just my inner fandom talking. But yeah, no, I think we can. I think we saw a blueprint last night because I did like how our offense looked. But
I mean, definitely somebody need to be calling some of these wide receivers that's up for trading. Because Rogers definitely needs the help. At one point, the way he was getting hit last night, I thought we was going to see Jordan Love in this game. Just his whole demeanor and everything else, he was already straightening up his helmet after the pressures and everything that Buffalo was given to the defense. I was like, oh no, Rogers is shook. We find out he about to get taken out this game for Jordan Love, who we have no clue how he is. Once Aaron Rodgers goes, do you think they're gonna try to groom Jordan Love, or do y'all draft, or do y'all bring in another quarterback? Do you think?
I've said this before. I genuinely think we're going to get at least 1 year of Jordan Love because you traded up in the first round to pick Jordan Love. So to me, they have a lot of confidence in him. So I do think that we're going to end up getting 1 year of Jordan Love, if anything, just for the fact that we had to trade up in the first round to get him. Right. I do think that we should bring in another quarterback when Rodgers goes for Love to compete against, because I haven't been overly sold on Jordan Love, but yeah, no, I definitely think that we'll end up seeing a year of Jordan Love, and for the Packers getting a wide receiver, I think as long as we get somebody that's younger and actually has potential to grow, I don't mind the trade. I don't want to see us get like 107-year-old AJ Green.
Right.
But if we get like a Jerry Jeudy or even Elijah Moore there out of New York Jets, just somebody young who can potentially grow not only with Rodgers but with Jordan Love over the next 2 years, yeah, I'm all for it. But let's not try to make a move to win this right now move. Like, don't make a move just to try to win this year, because it's probably not going to happen.
Most definitely. So again, y'all at 3-5 in the next upcoming games. You do still have a division game between the Lions. You got the Cowboys, the Titans, then the Eagles, and then the Bears again. And then I think you're on a bye after that. How do you see the next four to 5 games going?
Let's see. I'm confident against Detroit. Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. Eagles, I do not think we beat the Eagles. I'll be upfront and honest about that one. I I don't see us beating Dallas either right off the bat. So I see us really going 2-2 going into the bye week. In order for us to make a playoff run, I think we're going to have just rest and get healthy on the bye week and just run the table after that and hope it's enough.
Right, because then it's then it's the Rams, Dolphins, Vikings, and then Lions again.
Yeah, no, that's kind of part of the reason why not 100% sold on us making the playoffs because we don't have an easy schedule at this back half of the year here. So yeah, it's going to be tough because Vikings, they're clearly the better team right now as well. Unless the game's in prime time, then Kirk Cousins will probably choke.
I mean, they're balling good for right now, but that's another topic that is on the agenda. We're going definitely gonna get into that. But well, I didn't put it on the list, but let's preview tonight's game. We got the Cleveland Browns up against the Cincinnati Bengals, and Cincinnati Bengals will not have Jamar Chase. How you think that game's gonna go?
I think with tonight's game, the Bengals to me are still the more talented team overall than the Cleveland Browns. But I think the loss of Jamar Chase is going to be huge for them because him and Burrow just always had this special connection. I still think they pull it out. I think it'll end up being 23-14. I do think that the Browns have a chance at pulling off an upset. I think if they run the ball well and control the clock, they might have a chance to beat the Bengals, but I do have the Bengals winning this one tonight.
I'm definitely going to take the Bengals as well. You still have Joe Mixon to complement that whole passing game. I know they're missing Jamar Chase. They still got Tyler Boyd and T Higgins down there. Hunter Hurst is becoming, up and coming tight end as well. But I say you feed Joe Mixon the ball, play action. The running game sets up the passing game. Joe Burrow's been playing very well the last couple of games, but they got to run the ball with Joe Mixon to win this game. I'm going to go with Cincinnati as well to win this game. We all know how Cleveland is. Of course, they got Kareem Hunt as well, but they got Nick Chubb. Brissett's not doing that bad. Expected to what he is. It's Jacoby Brissett. He's a backup. We all know that Watson is going to come back after Week 13. I think it is against the Texans. So that game is going to be interesting as well. But Cleveland is who we thought Cleveland would be. Not looking so great without their top QB that they did get all these picks for and traded for, and it's your $230 man. But let's go ahead and switch to some games that some of the games yesterday. We had the Dallas Cowboys destroying the Chicago Bears, but that was expected because it's the Bears.
Yeah.
But Dallas wins 49-29, almost put up a 50 burger. No Zeke Elliott in this game. So Tony Pollard was the backup. Zeke 21-27, 250, 2 touchdowns and an interception. But Tony Pollard 14 carries, 131 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dak gets a running touchdown as well, and CeeDee Lamb gets the receiving. And Ferguson. Is there a QB? Not QB. Is there a running back controversy in Dallas?
So to me, the way I've always viewed Dallas as is the fact that Tony Pollard has always he's more explosive in the run game. I don't think anybody can argue that at this point. That's just kind of a given. But I do think Zeke is very helpful for that offense as well. I'm not going to sit here and not say he's overpaid. He is very overpaid. I'll give it that. But because Tony Pollard at the end of the day is still not a good pass blocker, and Zeke is a very good pass blocker at the running back position. So I think that actually they complement each other really well. I think that I don't know if there's so much of a controversy, but I do think for a majority of the run plays, it does need to be Pollard. Majority of the pass plays, it just needs to be Zeke. Don't, only put Zeke in on pass plays and start tipping the plays to the other team. But I do think that both backs are still really useful for that Dallas for that Dallas team. But at the end of the day, no, I don't think there's a controversy. I think they've been getting better at using both of them to their strengths.
Everybody could say that Pollard is the better back. Um, Completely two different running backs. Zeke is more of that power back guy who got the speed as well, can give you the yardage, but don't sleep on him when you leave him open field. He can burn you.
Mm,
Tony Pollard's another one. He can catch out the backfield. He's that elusive quick back. Soon as he hits the hole, it's no catching him once he catches. Once he hits the hole, it's a wrap after that because you're not gonna catch him. But Tony Pollard did have the 3 touchdowns yesterday. Did look. I thought not saying the Bears could win, but they had their chances and opportunities. It's just the Bears' run defense is horrible,
oh, absolutely.
horrible. I mean, they had they cut it down to 5 at one point. I was like, okay, let me find out Chicago got some life. This will be an upset of the century if Chicago beats this Dallas team with the defense, but the defense is so good. I just feel bad for Justin Fields right now. That whole Chicago Bears team. Um, Next year, no excuses. I keep saying that they got all this money for cap, and they better go out there and get some resources and help Justin Fields out because I really feel bad for the kid. And he's actually pretty good. He's not no scrub. He just ain't got nothing in Chicago to work out with. Koo was going on. Appreciate you for joining this morning. Cowboys rushing defense isn't that good either. But it's the Chicago Bears though. Like I understand y'all defense isn't that run defense isn't that great, but y'all put up 49 on them. With their running defense has just been bad all season. Um, so I mean, hopefully I mean things don't get no easier for Chicago, but you never know. Any given Sunday they can turn things around. They got the Dolphins, the Lions, they got the Falcons, the Jets, Packers, and then the Eagles. So I mean, it doesn't get any better. Maybe hopefully they can get somebody by the trade deadline, or where they actually have a pick in the first round this year, because usually what the Bears do, they trade all their first round picks away. So who's to say they don't get a first round pick this year? But they already won 3 games. Maybe I see them winning two more. Maybe if even they should they should at least sweep the Lions. Um, and that's really it after that. So I mean, I see Atlanta beating them. I see the Jets beating them. I see the Packers beating them. Eagles, Bills, Vikings. So I see them maybe getting the two wins against the Lions. So that'll bring them a total of five games on the season, winning. But Cowboys, they're the second best team in the NFC East. So we'll no nobody thought that they would be 6-2 once Dak went down. Again, Cooper Rush came in and did what he had to do to keep them from winning games. Any thoughts on that series? Dallas, Chicago. What you think on Chicago? 2 more games they'll win, or they might surprise you and sneak out one more.
No, I think about two, maybe sneaking out a third win is about it for Chicago. At the end of the day, their offensive line just isn't up to par. They're not blocking run or the pass. But even when Fields has time, he doesn't really have anybody to throw it to. So I do think that like you said, they have no excuses. They have all the cap space in the world this offseason, and it absolutely just has to go towards an offensive line first and foremost, and then maybe use their first round pick or second pick or draft a wide receiver if you don't feel comfortable with any of the ones in free agency, or use some of your second, third, fourth round picks to maybe trade for a guy.
Right. Hold on 1 second. All right. So definitely, I don't think there's a QB. I mean, a QB, a running back controversy over there in Dallas. It's just each running back both have their differences and similarities. Two different style of backs, but Tony Pollard, he was the next man up yesterday. His number was called, and he definitely produced. Um, Speaking in the NFC East, We got the Eagles at 7-0. We got Dallas at 6-2, and Washington did win yesterday, and then the Giants lost yesterday. So the Giants fought at 6-2. So that's two teams at 6-2, and then there is the Giants. I'm sorry, and then there's the Commanders. Now, could you possibly see three teams from the NFC East in the playoffs? Because right now the Commanders are three. I'm sorry, the Commanders are 4-4.
Could I see it? Yeah, what? I don't see why not. I mean, right now the next closest teams to them are the Jets and the Dolphins at 5-3 for the wild card race. Everybody else is still stuck at 4 wins. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could absolutely, see it. I do think that whoever doesn't make it in between the Bengals and Ravens, I do think one of the other team and that's going to end up getting hot and making a wild card because I do believe in that. And also at the same time too, I do think that a second team from the NFC West as well could very well get hot and give them a run for their money. But as of right now, yeah, sure, they could absolutely. You can see three teams from there.
Because looking at this NFC right now, um,
I,
so there's of course there's Philly, there's Minnesota,
you know,
and then you have Dallas, the Giants, possibly even Atlanta. Then you still have Seattle, um, San Fran battling over there in the NFC West division. But I mean, it all depends. I definitely could see if Washington continues to win, and maybe the Giants continues. Not saying that they will keep a losing streak, but it could be a toss up. And I definitely could see three teams possibly coming out of the NFC East because NFC this year. Let's just be real. It's not as strong as everybody thought it would be. Your Brady and Rodgers is playing like poop. Now you got the up and coming quarterbacks. You got your Hurts, you got your Daniel Jones, you got your Heineke's. Kirk Cousins is still up there. Mariota, Geno Smith. You got those type of guys now that's trying to, you know, kick out old Aaron Rodgers and a Tom Brady. Do you agree with that?
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. At some point these older quarterbacks are going to age out, and these guys are going to take over for them. And I misspoke. I said the Bengals and the Ravens, but they're in the AFC. I was more thinking about those NFC West teams that I think could very well get hot at the second half of the year and
Mm-hmm.
overtake. But yeah, no, absolutely. The Buccaneers are just too one dimensional for me at this point to consider them for. I do think they still beat the Falcons to make it into the playoffs, but at the end of the day, I don't see them making any noise this year. And
Definitely, it should be interesting. A playoff, just playoffs without a Rodgers or Brady would be crazy. Um, that would be very interesting if that definitely happened. But somehow I don't like. Usually you would pull for Brady or Rodgers. I don't see them in the play. Neither one of them in the playoffs.
yeah, if one of them are making it, it's going to be Brady. The NFC South is weak, so I could see them still making a good enough run to potentially make it. I don't have as much faith in the Packers, unfortunately, but yeah, it's very well they both could, but I think at least Brady's going to make it.
All right. So speaking of the NFC West, again, we do got the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks has been playing great under Geno Smith. Again, they are 5-3 yesterday, um, winning against the Giants. That was 6-1. That was definitely a hot Giants team. But they went in there and won 27-13. Geno Smith again, not 17. I'm sorry, 23 for 34, 212, two touchdowns. Kenneth Walker, 51 yards and a touchdown. Metcalf, Lockett, both with a touchdown each. Talk about Geno Smith in Seattle. Is it time for us to give him Seattle finally their credit.
Yeah, they deserve all the credit in the world. I don't think anybody had them doing this well once they lost Russ. I know I think I know I had them predicted for like 4 wins on the year,
Mm-hmm.
but they deserve all the credit in the world. Gino's been playing out of his mind, at least it relative to Geno Smith standards. He's been playing super well. Kenneth Walker has shown that he's one of the more explosive backs in the league. He's very quick and shifty. He's tough to bring down in the open field. And of course, I think what helps too is you still have Pete Carroll on the sideline, and the impact of Pete Carroll. You saw it yesterday in the beginning of the game. Tyler Lockett dropped a touchdown pass,
Mm-hmm.
and he was sulking on the sidelines. And you saw it on video where Pete Carroll came over to talk to him and kind of hype him up, and console him. And what did he do? Gets Draws up a play and gets Tyler Lockett open again to give him another chance. So I do think that when you have a coach that is willing to work with his players, even if they do drop touchdown passes and even if they make mistakes, I think that's huge for a player's confidence. So, yeah, Seattle's coaching staff and their just entire team overall, they just deserve all the credit in the world for executing so far.
We can all talk about D Jack as the best, one of the best deep route runners, but you gotta definitely put Tyler Lockett up there. I'm gonna say, in my opinion, I think Tyler Lockett is one of the better deep ball receivers. He can catch, regularly, but then you have to throw a long bomb and he gets open. You better throw it to him because he's definitely gonna catch it. So I definitely believe Tyler Lockett is a good deep ball threat. Of course, we can't discount Deshaun Jackson, but we haven't seen him yet. Can he still run that way um, out there in Baltimore? But we'll definitely see if he can definitely get acclimated and help out a um, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say Tyler Lockett and Deshaun Jackson. They're both very quick, but they are both very good at locating the ball while it's in the air and making adjustments. So, no, I definitely have to agree with that. Tyler Lockett's one of the best deep threats right now in this league. And I think Deshaun Jackson, when he's healthy, he can absolutely help Baltimore.
Yeah, no, definitely, most definitely. But let's go swing over again to the NFC South, and again that division is not all that great. Then you got Brady, but is Atlanta the best team in NFC South?
I mean, record wise, sure. I don't. I I'll say this again. I do think that Tampa Bay still is the most talented team in the NFC South. Unfortunately, they suffered key injuries in their offensive line. The center's out. They're allowing too much pressure up the middle, and it's getting to Brady. But the bigger piece of that, because I don't necessarily think Brady's the biggest issue with that team. Because at the end of the day, last time I checked, he still had 8 passing touchdowns to only 1 interception. He's still taking care of the ball. He's not making mistakes. It's the fact that they can't get they can't get a run game going. Leonard Fournette is apparently still somewhere in January. Like you're not going to beat many teams in the NFL being that as one dimensional as the Buccaneers have been. And the fact that they only put up 3 on the Carolina Panthers should absolutely show you, hey, this offense just is suffering right now from too many key injuries on the offensive line and the lack of run game. But yeah, so are the Falcons the best team right now? Yeah, record wise, I do think the Buccaneers still are more skilled at the skilled positions.
All right, so Mariota yesterday did have 20 for 28. He did have 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 253 yards. Huntley was the lead ball carrier with 61 carries, 91 yards. Mariota used his legs. Algier used his legs as well. Kyle Pitts finally got going, 5 catches, 80 yards and a touchdown. He got Bird involved, and Algier got receiving touchdowns. So let's be real here. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for DJ Moore doing a boneheaded move by taking off his helmet, Carolina would have won this game. But because he got excited and took off his helmet, they did tack on that penalty. Now we all know you gotta keep your helmet on. Um, so that did back up the extra point, almost like a 40-yard extra point, but he missed. He missed the go ahead kick to win this game, and then they went in overtime, and then Sung Yoku with the 41-yard field goal and it wins the game. So for Carolina to be on a fire sale, do you think they're actually playing they actually playing kind of well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they almost were in first place yesterday if they would have knocked off the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
So they absolutely are playing much better. I think what's the intern's name? Is it Steve Wilkes? But
Yep.
yeah, I no, Wilkes has them playing hard. They're coming out and they're executing well. Like, so I do think that they're playing much better. And I would like to thank DJ Moore for getting me a win in fantasy just for that one Hail Mary bomb yesterday. The Atlanta Falcons forgot the number one rule in Hail Mary defense: make sure you're deeper than the deepest guy. But yeah, no, I think Carolina's playing much better than I thought they have. Wilkes has them playing exceptionally well.
Yeah, most definitely. That would have been crazy though. Carolina would be in first place if they would have beat the Falcons. That division is just somebody. I mean, somebody got to win the division. So it is definitely that division is definitely up for grabs. But the more talented team, like you said, is Tampa Bay. But we'll see if Tom Brady can get over his woes and get that team together, or if not, somebody like a Atlanta could possibly, take that division over. But Mariota's actually playing very well. You already know his history. Can't stay healthy, can't stay on the field, but he's not doing bad. He's still using his legs, he still is passing. So Mariota hopefully can revamp his career down there in Atlanta. So moving on here, how good are the Vikings?
How good are the Vikings?
Is it just 6-1, or is there something towards the Vikings that they're clicking on all cylinders? So yeah, are they just that good, or is it just the teams that they're beating? They're not really playing anyone.
To me, in all reality, the Vikings have always had all the talent in the world on paper. And a receiver, you got Jefferson and Thielen. Most teams would die to have that 1-2 combo, and I would take either one of them in Green Bay. You have Dalvin Cook at running back. Like, there's weapons on that, and that offensive line is blocking well. Like, you have all the talent in the world. So to me, you just have a very talented Vikings team. My my biggest question at the end of the day with the Vikings was always under center. It was never can they win. Can they win? It's when it counts. Can Kirk Cousins and his 10-18 record in primetime games, can he get the job done?
Right.
So I just genuinely think that the Vikings are just a very talented team.
Of course, everybody was talking about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is having not a bad year this year. The Eagles is the only team that beat them so far, and ever since then, they've been on a tear. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, can he stay really healthy for them? Is the key. Of course, you still got Adam Thielen. Has Adam Thielen, you think, fallen off? It's always Justin Jefferson. Before Justin Jefferson, Thielen used to be the guy. Has he fallen off a little bit to you, or do you think Thielen is still Adam Thielen?
I think he's still, for the most part, Adam Thielen. He might have fallen off a little bit, but I think it's just more that Justin Jefferson is just that good that we just don't think about Adam Thielen all that often anymore. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't have as much to do with Adam Thielen because I think the talent is still there. He may have slipped a little bit, but not a lot. He's still a very good wide receiver. It's just when you're playing right next to a guy you can consider maybe a top 5 wide receiver in the league, yeah, you're not going to get talked about a lot.
So the Minnesota did take care of the Cardinals yesterday, 34-26. And again, Kirk Cousins didn't have a bad day, 24, 36, 232, and 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, 20 receptions, 20 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Madison got a touchdown too. 98 yards from Justin Jefferson. Thielen was there too in the production, 67 yards, 6 catches. So I mean, it pretty much was balanced around. Those two are definitely going to get their touches, but we all know who Kirk's going to throw to more is going to be Justin Jefferson. And of course, when Justin Jefferson is getting double teamed or something in that nature, Adam Thielen will be available for you. Um, so the Vikings next games are the Commanders, the Bills. They have the Cowboys. They have the Patriots, the Jets, the Lions. I mean, um, I definitely can see them in double digit wins. They at 6 right now. I can see them possibly maybe beating the Commanders. That should be a good game next week. Honestly, you want me to be real. I don't see them beating the Bills. Cowboys could be a toss up. I can see them beating New England, definitely the Jets. So I can definitely see them at a double digit wins this year for the Vikings. What you think?
I'll say that out of all the teams you just named, the only team I see beating them are the Bills.
Right.
I think overall, I think they can beat the. I think they'll beat the Cowboys, and none of the other teams, in all reality, are anywhere near their skill level. So I could see them very well just losing one game for the rest of the year.
No, because then they got the Colts, the Giants, the Packers, and then the Bears is ending the season. So I mean, if they, I definitely the hmm.
I'm
Do I
sure
want
they'll
to say
get.
14-2?
I'm sure they'll get upset somewhere in there a couple times, but yeah, no. With as much talent as they have compared to the rest of these teams, the only team that's head and shoulders above them are the Bills.
Yeah, I definitely can see again. Some of them might be upset. I'm not gonna say a 14-2. I could maybe possibly say maybe 11-5, maybe 12 wins at the most. But some of them wins, is gonna come down to you know somebody getting upset or somebody got Minnesota's number. They definitely gonna catch them. But Minnesota's been playing great. Can't hate on Minnesota this year. Is Hackett still on the hot seat? Now it was rumored that if Denver lost yesterday, Hackett was going to be fired. I said, y'all can't fire this man in London. He got those rumors and he was like, we cannot lose in London because I'm not trying to have no job coming back home to the states. But Denver gets the job done and beat the Jags in London. I think the score was 21-16, if I believe. Hold on,
21-17.
yeah. Trevor Lawrence with that interception towards the end of the game. Um, Denver actually didn't look bad at all yesterday, even though I know it was against the Jaguars team. But this is one of the games in a while that they actually played. Um, Russell Wilson. He's that type of quarterback that bounces from adversity. He's using his legs yesterday. He was definitely throwing. He looked like the old Russell Wilson. But is Hackett still on the hot seat?
I mean, I feel like if he was on the hot seat before, I don't think beating a weak Jacksonville team by 4 really changes that at all. Unfortunately, I still don't think Nathaniel Hackett is a great coach. He still doesn't make. He's not a great decision maker. He had to hire somebody else to help him make these in-game decisions. So I really do think he's still on the hot seat. I don't think winning yesterday it saves him another week or two, but it doesn't save him from being on the hot seat overall.
Could you throw Josh McDaniels in the hot seat?
Josh McDaniels, Raiders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he has. The Raiders have looked better when they run the ball more through Josh Jacobs, but yeah, they made a bad choice in Josh McDaniels. I don't think that they'll fire him this year, but I don't think he'll last long on the Raiders.
And speaking of the Raiders, going into the next segue topic here, the Las Vegas Raiders lose to the New Orleans Saints 24-0. Did I expect that to happen? Absolutely not. Did I expect for them to have 0 points? Did not expect that at all. Um, it's just really crazy to me how the Raiders lose to a struggling Saints team. Even though their defense isn't that bad, but offensively, no Landry, no Michael Thomas. They didn't have Winston in, but Winston is on the bench. He was on the bench, and they did start Andy Dalton again. But Kamara was just running up and down him. Kamara and Taysom Hill. They could not contain him, could not stop him. Kamara had 18 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Taysom Hill burned up 61 yards. Andy Dalton, 2 touchdowns. Kamara got involved in the receiving game. Kamara was just killing them running and receiving wise. Is it time to move on from Derek Carr? Is it time for the Raiders to move on from Derek Carr? He's been there for 9 years. I've had plenty of conversations with Raiders fans and other just football fans in general. I look at Carr as, let's say, a Matthew Stafford type. He can't control who comes in Detroit. They went from not having a running game to not having receivers in the defense. Again, it's not all Carr's fault of what he had during this whole tenure with the Raiders. Yesterday's game, you got to blame everybody. Special teams, coaching, defense, offense. They couldn't get nothing done with 0 points. Nothing could be done yesterday with 0 points. I think last time I checked, I think Devontae Adams had 1 catch for -1 yards. Last time I checked. But let me see these Raiders stats because it should all say 0 because they didn't do nothing yesterday. 101 yards from Derek Carr and a touchdown. An interception. Josh Jacobs, 43 yards. Everybody was in a negative. Mac Hollins was your leading receiver and 7 catches and 64 yards. Devontae Adams 1 catch for 3 yards. So I don't know, was it just the Saints just really defensive wise was just homing in on the Raiders, or I just don't know what the deal was yesterday. But is it time for the Raiders to move on for Derek Carr?
Only if a clear upgrade presents itself. Because to me, if, for example, if they would decided, yeah, we're going to get rid of Carr, bring in like Jimmy Garoppolo, would that really be an upgrade, or are you just making a lateral move? So, yeah, I do think that it's very well could say it's time to move on from the Raiders. The issue at that point is which quarterback is going to be available. That's a clear upgrade from Derek Carr. Are you going to try to? Are you going to maybe call Green Bay, see if Aaron Rodgers is available? Is he a clear upgrade from Derek Carr? Are you going to reunite Rodgers and Adams? Rodgers, maybe, but I can't think of too many quarterbacks right now that are going to be available that are just a clear upgrade over Derek Carr. So, yes, but any move at this point, unless you're getting any move at this point, really feels like it'll end up being a lateral move.
So, the Raiders right now are 2-5, and they go against a 2-6 Jaguars team. I can't say anything at this point because we all thought I thought they was going to at least win maybe 3 in a row. Texans, Saints, and then they got the Jags. They beat the Texans. They lost to the Saints. Now they got the Jags. So they got the Jags, the Colts. They got the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Chargers, the Rams, Patriots, Steelers, 49ers, and then the Chiefs again at the end of the season. How many more games do you think this Raiders team could get? And it's possibly, I'm saying they probably will win. They probably will win a couple more, but at this point, they could be in the top 10 in draft picks. Maybe they go out and draft a receiver. A quarterback, because this quarterback class is going to be deep coming in this year, next year. So who's to say that they don't try to get one of those rookies coming in? But what do you see next is how they're playing. How many more wins do you see them getting?
Let's see. Jaguars, I think they'll beat Jacksonville. The Colts.
You got the Colts, Sam Ellinger, no more Matt Ryan's on the bench for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I see them beating the Colts. They're struggling. I see them dropping. I see them losing to the Broncos. I'll pick the Broncos over them. We'll go the Seahawks. I see them losing to the Seahawks. The Chargers are a better team. The Rams are a better team. I could see them potentially beating the Patriots and the Steelers. 49ers and Chiefs are both a better team. Realistically, I'm seeing four four wins on the schedule, five because I do think they can beat Denver, but I will pick Denver to win that game. But I'm going to predict they get four more, but they could very well get five.
Yeah, I don't see them winning too many games. It'll surprise me if they do, but I do see them in the first round this year with picks. Um, so yeah, it's just an it's just an awful performance by the Raiders because you didn't think the Raiders would be this bad with getting a Devontae Adams, Chandler Jones on the defensive side of the ball. It's just not. It's just a sad day if y'all are Raiders fans. I do know a couple, and yeah, they definitely not happy. Out of yesterday, is Taylor Heineke the best for Washington right now? Since Carson Wentz did get hurt, and he's been in there the last 2 or 3 games he's been in there, he's won both. Um, should Heineke have been starting from the beginning?
I mean, I think he's maybe the best option over Carson Wentz right now. Should he have been starting from the beginning? Probably. Does it change the trajectory of that team too much? Not really. Tyler Heineke's an undrafted free agent, been in the league since 2015 out of Old Miss there. Do I He had his chance to start last year, 20 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. So, is he an upgrade over Carson Wentz at this point? Yeah. Should he have been starting from the beginning? Yeah. Did it would have changed much of anything? No. It wouldn't have changed anything about the Commanders' season.
I mean, I just feel like the team plays better with Carson Wentz. I mean with Heidenreich. Um, you see Terry McLaurin finally coming to the receiver we know he can be. Seemed like when he was with Carson Wentz was in there, it just seemed like he couldn't get going. But once Heineke came in, it unleashed a different story. He started playing well. Antonio Gibson is running. The defense is playing okay. So I just feel like he's just a better person overall. Then I mean, he understood why he wasn't a starter because again, Carson Wentz are paying this money, and then he's on that, a lower salary than he was getting. He was like, "Yes, I understand. A $12 million quarterback is going to start over a $2 million quarterback, but at the end of the day, you should at least had a quarterback competition. If Heineke beat out Carson Wentz in preseason, you should have gave it to Heineke. And then if Heineke was struggling, then you bring in a Carson Wentz. After this point, who knows where Carson Wentz season is going to go from here? Because it just seems like nobody, you saw what happened in Philly. Yeah, he's a Super Bowl winner, but he did get hurt, couldn't finish. Nick Foles finished the job. Then he goes to Indy. He loses to the Jags. They kick him to the curb after 1 year, which I didn't think he did too bad in Indianapolis. And now he comes here and Ron Rivera's throwing him under the bus. Where does Carson Wentz go from here?
I don't think Carson Wentz will. If at best he gets a backup job somewhere, but if he's out of the league after this year, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think at best, at this point in his career, I don't think he'll ever get a starting job ever again. He's just a career backup journeyman at this point. But yeah, that's really it. He might be able to crack a roster, but he's definitely not going to be a starter. And I do agree with everything you said, Key. This team definitely plays better under Heineke. By not changing much, I just meant where the season's going. I think there's just too many teams that are better than them overall. So I do think this Washington team does play better with Heineke under center. But yeah, with Carson Wentz, at best he'll be a backup. Otherwise, I could very well see him being out of the league after this year.
Right. Most definitely. I don't know if somebody's a team that desperately needs a quarterback, but like you said, I don't see Carson being a starter anymore like he used to. It just seems like his everywhere he's go, he's not a starter material anymore, and he's been injury prone throughout his career. Let's just be honest. after after everything that happened with Philly and his back and then his knee. I just feel like he's not confident enough. And then when then Washington plays the Eagles, he gets killed 9 times sacks wise, and then I don't know. But yeah, he next season we'll see where he's at. If Washington lets him go again, will he be a backup somewhere? If he does get picked up by another team, he's just gonna have to live with his role that this is what you are now. You're not gonna be a starter. You're definitely going to be a backup. Is he serviceable? Absolutely, he's serviceable. But is he starter worthy to me? I don't think so anymore.
No, back up on a contending team because I think half these young teams are going to keep younger guys back there who have potential, but I think he could still be a backup on a contending team.
All right. So out of the games yesterday, who was the best performer the week so far to you?
To me, I got to give it to Christian McCaffrey with one passing, receiving, and a rushing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He was just all over that game. He was just literally every facet of the game. 94 rush yards, 55 receiving yards, along with 34 passing yards. So I'm gonna keep it simple here. I'm gonna pick McCaffrey.
I'm going to say, and of course I have to be a homer about this. I'm just going to say, Jalen Hurts 4 touchdowns yesterday, and then AJ Brown with 3 touchdowns. Got split them two together. They definitely played well. Everybody saying, "Oh, Jalen Hurts has this noodle arm," but he threw that bomb to AJ Brown. So I mean, just gotta be a homer and to pick the Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown tag team there. But definitely Christian McCaffrey killed it yesterday. You can even say Tony Pollard with the 3 touchdowns. You can even say Kamara because Kamara killed the Raiders by himself. He had 3 touchdowns yesterday total, 2 receiving and one rushing. Um, so definitely, uh, anybody had the top performance yesterday. You can definitely stick them in there. Now we're gonna switch over. I know it's not on the list, but Game Three is tonight of the World Series. It is tied 1-1. Houston winning Game Two. Philly coming out the gates and winning Game One in the 10th. Who do you like in Game Three?
Um, I think I am gonna go. I think I'm gonna pick Philly tonight.
Okay.
I mean, I'm guessing you got Philly too.
It because I know we got um Syndergaard on the mound, so I'm just not sure. I know he's not gonna go the whole distance. Game two is just we could not hit the bats to save our lives. Um, Valdez was killing the Phillies all game long. His fastball, his pitch, his command. Now everybody was saying, "Oh, well, he changed gloves and he didn't look," but obviously they didn't do anything wrong because the umpires check the pitchers every inning to make sure ain't nothing suspicious going down. We just couldn't we just couldn't hit in game two. Hopefully we can get some momentum on our side because we're back at home. We got 3 games here at home. So we'll definitely see what's going on. I'm going to say I'm going to pick the Phillies to game three. Um, even though I still say we could win in game we can win in 6. Just gotta see how we play here in Philly. But I'm going to say the Phillies will take game 3 tonight.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, so let's get over here to some NBA action that went down. The Lakers last night finally is the last team in the NBA to get a win. Russell Westbrook didn't actually do too bad yesterday. He actually had a surprisingly good game. The Lakers did beat the Nuggets 121-110. Go to the box scores here. Anthony Davis 23 points, LeBron James 26, Lonnie Walker 18, and Russell Westbrook contributed 18 points off the bench. It looked like Darwin Ham is still going to stick to Westbrook to come off the bench with that second unit. Um, is that a better role for Russell Westbrook to run the second unit. Because with this, I keep telling you, Russell wants to be the first or second option. On the second unit, he's the first and second option. What do you think about that?
I think you're 100% right. I think Russell Westbrook, in his mind, he has to be that. He has to be the guy. And with LeBron James, if you play him with LeBron, it just doesn't work like that. When it seemed like last year, whenever Russ had actually finally had a good game, you were taking the ball out of LeBron's hands, who's never been a dominant off. He can dominate in every facet of the game, but off ball never seems to be a strong suit. So then LeBron would have a bad game. So it was imperative that you split them up, and putting Russ on the bench and letting him have free reign, I think is just a phenomenal move. For the Lakers to make. They actually hit their open shots last night, which was shocking. That was the real key difference maker. And their defense has looked fantastic. But yeah, when it comes to the Lakers offense, you just can't play LeBron and Russ together for long stretches of time. So yeah, putting Russ on the bench was absolutely the right move.
And they beat a Denver team who beat them not too long ago, last week. So then you had Jokic 23 points, Jamal Murray 21 points. You got 17 points for Michael Porter Jr., 18 points for Eric Gordon, Bruce Brown 10 points. It looks like Bones Highland wasn't in that game. I think the reason why they lost this game because they definitely was missing Bones Highland. Bones Highland was lighting them up the last game they played, and he is a very important piece to that Denver team as well because he can get to open shots, he can knock down a three, he can get to the basket. So they was definitely missing Bones Highland in that game. I think it would have been a different story if Bones did play on top of there because he can get you at least 15 points a game. And they was missing some points. But the Lakers, shout out to the Lakers. They did get their first win. Coach Dante he said he's gonna go bold prediction. He said he's gonna be 0-10. But they got their first win under their belt, so hopefully they can keep things together.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, with the Nuggets, that to me that was the biggest difference maker too. Because once you get to that Denver bench, the only shot creator they really have who can self create is Bones Highland. Bruce Brown, he's a play finisher. He's not creating his own look. Jeff Green, same thing. You're not running any offense through DeAndre Jordan at this point. So, yeah, at the end of the day, in order for this Nuggets team to succeed, they just really need to make sure that Bones Highland, is okay and ready to go. Or, even if he is hurt, maybe make an adjustment. Maybe run Jamal Murray more with the second unit. Keep somebody out there that can create his own shot just in games that Bone just hurt.
Right, definitely. So yeah, shout out to the Lakers. Hopefully they can continue their winning streak there. So everybody officially in the NBA has at least won a game. So no winless teams in the NBA, but the Clippers, who everybody thought that would be the Lakers' Achilles, is on a 4-game losing streak. What's going on there with the other LA team?
Paul George is cold. I think that's really what it comes down to with that LA team. At the end of the day, with that offense, with Kawhi out, they really need Paul George to step up and play like the all-star fringe MVP candidate that he very well can be, and he just hasn't. He's shot 13 of 42 over the past couple games. He's just been ice cold. That defense can only compensate for so much, and that offense just can't function if Paul George is taking 42 shots and only hitting 13 of them. So I think the big key right now is Paul George he's just cold, and there isn't enough there isn't enough behind him. There isn't a second star right now since Kawhi's not playing right now to make up for that production that Paul George is leaving on the table.
And then is Kawhi still on low? Do they still benching Kawhi?
I hardly know what they're doing with Kawhi anymore. They should try to keep him healthy for the playoffs. Like at the end of the day, but yeah, no, when it comes to Kawhi, they definitely are still load managing him. I just haven't seen him. I don't think he played last night. I don't think he played in the game before that. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with Kawhi and his injuries.
Is he it's safe to say he's not fully back then? Like I know he played that opener game, and then after that you haven't seen him.
Yeah, no, I think if he's still this banged up, just rest him, just shut him down until he's ready. Paul George, when he's on his game, is good enough to win enough games with this supporting cast. By himself, Paul George will get you to the playoffs. I'm not worried about that. As long as he can stay healthy, that this is a playoff team for sure. As long as he doesn't go on more cold streaks.
Right, exactly. Definitely Paul George can get you can get you to the playoffs because he did it last year. Well, the play in, and he didn't lost to get there. But if Paul George stays healthy and John Wall actually stays healthy, them two definitely could make some noise until Kawhi is ready or whenever he decides he wants to come back. But that sucks because I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with Kawhi Leonard because he's on my fantasy team. So I definitely gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with Kawhi. But the Bucks, are they the best team in the East so far? I know they 5-0, but I know it's too early. It is after, but they haven't lost any games yet. Are they the team to beat in the East?
I I wouldn't I wouldn't see why not. The thing with the Bucks is they're 5-0 and they still don't have Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, or Joe Ingles. That is
Wow.
arguable right there. Our top 3-point shooters just not playing yet. You can argue that Grayson Allen and Bobby Portis are right up there with them, but still, that's three of our top 5 3-point shooters that just aren't playing. So, yeah, to me, they're looking like the team to beat right now. Giannis is Giannis. He's playing like the MVP candidate he will be every year until he finally regresses. Drew Holiday, Drew Holiday's performance has been a little uneven to start the year, but the big thing with Drew Holiday is even when his offensive game is off, he still gives you that defensive player of the year caliber defense. Like we saw it in game 1 against Philly. He shot 2 of 15, but when it came down to it, Harden couldn't shake him and had to settle for a tough floater that didn't go. And then he ripped Trae Young in that game against Atlanta. So no, to me the Bucks are just firing on all cylinders. At times I would still like to see more ball movement out of them. I think that we sometimes rely on isolation too much, and that's where I think Drew Holiday gets into a lot of trouble. He tries too hard to make up for the absence of Chris Middleton a lot of the time instead of just letting the offense flow through him. But that, to me, I think the Bucks are the team to beat in the East. Like we're 5-0, and we still don't have every single piece back yet.
I totally forgot the Bucks got Joe Ingles.
No,
But Cleveland is right underneath the Bucks, 5-1. Donovan Mitchell's over there, of course, is going to make any team better. Uh, but that other game, they had him and Karis LeVert have 41 points each. Was crazy. We all know how good Karis LeVert can be once he catches fire like that. But we're not going to get that from him every game. Donovan Mitchell, I expect that from Donovan Mitchell, but not from Karis LeVert. But
I was
got to definitely watch out for Cleveland as well over there in the East.
I was going to say about Karis LeVert, we saw exactly why Karis LeVert can be so unreliable because he went for 41. And what did he do the next game against the Knicks? He dropped 1 point the entire game.
Oh my
So
god!
he was, his stat line, I got it up right here. He was at 1.3 rebounds. He was 0 of 9, 0 of 4 from 3. Like he had 8 assists, so he still gave some playmaking value. But yeah, that's a big reason. Like Karis LeVert's just really inconsistent. Now, when Darius Garland comes back, that Mitchell Garland duo, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch for sure.
And they got Evan Mobley, so they had their little big three there. And then Boston's still gonna be Boston. Atlanta, definitely like the tandem of Javante Murray and Trae Young. Surprisingly, the Knicks haven't been playing that bad. 3-3. Toronto, all these teams are 3-3. And then we got the Sixers pulling up right behind with the 3 and 4 teams. Um, Sixers on a little 2 game winning streak. Tyrese Maxey went off the other night against the forget what team that was.
I think it was
Toronto, 44 points, and then the B comes back against Chicago, and they beat Chicago. Hopefully, Philly's in the right turnaround. But the key thing here is in the West. Is Portland the best in the West right now? Who would have thought we would be talking about the Portland Trailblazers after that the abysmal season they had last year? They were just atrocious. They are 5-1 right now in the West. What is Chauncey Billups doing over there? And they're doing this without Dame because I think he's hurt.
yeah. I think it was. I think they won their first game without Dame. I think their last game they played was their first game without him. No, it's impressive what they're doing. I didn't expect such a hot start from them. In all reality, I think the biggest part to that hot start, though, we're going to really get a real gut check in the next week to see how Chauncey Billups is doing. Has been Damian Lillard. Like I said, they won their first game without him, but now can they win the next few without him? Because it's not going to be easy. This upcoming schedule for the Blazers, they got a rough one coming up. They had it was 2 games against Phoenix. I remember. I was looking at this last night. It was 2 games against Phoenix. They have a game against Memphis, and I believe it's the Clippers right after that. So they are playing exceptionally well, but I do think a lot of that success has to do with Dame going for 41, and getting off to such a hot start. So I'm more curious to see how they do against like Memphis and Phoenix and the contenders of the West. Really bad time for Dame to miss a week.
Yeah, most definitely. They didn't have Dame, but they did have the rookie Sharp, and he looked sharp yesterday. He well on the 28th was the last time they played. Or was it? Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah. So Friday was the last game they did play on Friday. Sharp had 14 points. Anthony Simons is the guy. 30 points. Nurk had 27. But if Nurk can stay healthy, throughout the season, I definitely he can be a key piece for this Trailblazers team. But Chauncey Billups, I give it to him. He's playing well, and they beat the Rockets, and again the Rockets is another up and coming team. Give them a couple more years as long as Detroit beat Golden State yesterday. Was definitely shocked about that. When I seen that in the box score, I was like, "What? 114? They lost by what 14? 128 to 114. Detroit got some young talent over there. Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey. I like their team. They got the rookies over there, Dern and Ivy. But yeah, watch out for Detroit in the next up and coming years or so. I say give them about two more years. The Pistons probably be back in that contention of them playing good basketball because they got a young core over there. So I was about to say because we definitely can wrap it up here for like an hour or so, but we pretty much covered some things. We got the NBA out the way. We got definitely some NFL. But make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, same channel, 10 o'clock over here on the Sports Empire Network. Brett, you got anything to say before we roll on out of here?
Oh yeah, no, I just want to say I like the Bogdanovich extension that Detroit just did. I think he'll really help with the growth of Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. What's up?
Most definitely. Tell people where they can find you at.
Oh, you can. I have a podcast. It's Guardy 3. It's on Spotify and Anchor. Right now, it's just talking about basketball, but I do plan on expanding it to professional wrestling and football.
All right. Oh, we got another wrestling fan in the house. That's what's up. All right. And yeah, as always, y'all know it's me. It's Key. I'm always in the building. Make sure y'all tune on in back here at 5 o'clock for me and Coach Dante. We got the 7200 Seconds podcast. So make sure y'all tune into that. We're gonna probably break down everything. NFL again. NFL. Go further in depth. We're preview next week's game as well. Always a fun time on the 7200 seconds. So make sure y'all come on back for it. But we're gonna get on out of here. Everyone enjoy the rest of the morning, afternoon. If you're gonna do something crazy. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. But if you're gonna do it, just make sure you do it safely. So we're gonna get on out of here. Y'all enjoy y'all day.